Here are 3 ways for you to reinvent inspiration. If you've got a goal, if you've got a very important thing that you really like accomplish, but you can't find the motivation for you to be able to do it, you can't find a way for you to just get yourself started to do that thing, this will really inspire you to be able to do that thing, to be able to get yourself motivated. Now, I want you to notice a particular thing about what I said, that I distinguished between inspiration and motivation. And there's a very important reason why I did that. I'm going to give you 3 ways to reinvent, to look at things differently when it comes to inspiration. And this will psychologically trigger you to get production, get producing, get doing the things that you want to do. And psychologically trick yourself, if you want to call it that, to do the thing that you really want to do. And here's the beautiful part, is that it doesn't require much energy from you once you get this started. Once you make this psychological change in your mind, this neurological process in your mind started, you will become inspired automatically. I say automatically because magic is something which, a phenomenon which you can't explain, and that is magic. What is gravity? Gravity is magic, essentially. It's something you cannot actually explain. But going back, what are the 3 different ways to reinvent the way you get inspiration? Let's begin with making the delineation, a very important delineation between inspiration and motivation. To inspire is to breathe in. Inspiration and motivation, the very important delineation between the two is that inspiration comes from inside, motivation comes from inside, because motivation comes from the word motive, which is the reason why you do things. Motive, what the person's motive is what is the reason that they did that thing? What is their motive? Inspiration is from the word to breathe in, to inspire, which comes from the outside, to take from the outside and to bring inside, to breathe in. And so the very important delineation is, this will change the way you think about inspiration and motivation, is that do not seek motivation from the outside. Motivation only comes from inside. And inspiration you can seek from the outside when you see something that gets you inspired. You breathe it in, you extract from it. An event, a person, a book, whatever it is that causes you, that inspires you, you breathe it in, you extract from it something that will motivate you. So don't look for motivation outside of you. Motivation can only come from inside of you. A lot of people say, I can't get motivated. I need to find something that can motivate me. Now here's a psychological change that you need to begin to change in your mind, and you're beginning to change it now. After you watch this video, you will never look at motivation and inspiration the same way again. And here's what it is. You can't get motivation from the outside, because what if they never show up? You can never rely upon motivation coming from the outside. You can only rely upon inspiration. After watching this video, you're going to notice something. You'll notice that you look at things around you and you look at inspiration. There's inspiration everywhere. And then that'll kickstart the motivation, the motive. You'll revisit your motive inside of you and get you motivated to do the thing that you really want to do. So beginning with that, what is the number one? Number one way to get you to reinvent the way you look at inspiration so you can start doing the things that you want is recognize the notion that your environment is working harder on you than you are on yourself. Your environment is working harder on you than you are on yourself. It doesn't matter how tremendously powerful you are with your personal motivation, with your personal mindset, your personal growth, and your personal development. If you're in the wrong environment, it is working really, really hard on you than you are on it. Often, and more often, and virtually always, it's very hard for you to change your environment to pursue the thing that you want in a very, very bad environment. And so your environment has more influence on you because your senses, your unconscious mind, which is a very powerful force in your psychology, your unconscious mind is also, you can also refer to it now as your unconscious processes. There are processes which you don't consciously are aware about, but they really drive your behavior. And so you get a lot out of your environment and you process it unconsciously when you see it, hear it, feel it, smell it, and touch it. And all of the senses involved is extrapolating from your environment and really influencing your unconscious processes, your reactions. And so what does that tell you? It tells you that you have to craft your environment. You have to design your environment. There's an individual. His name was Napoleon Hill. He was instructed to interview the 140 most successful people on the planet in, I think, the 1970s, and he wrote a book about it. What he got, he called it the 17 laws of success, the 17 things that these individuals had in common. And he wrote a book about it, called it the 17 laws of success. Very old book. One of I think the number 5 law of success that he wrote in the book is called the mastermind principle, that each successful individual, they crafted their environment. They had something called the mastermind principle, and where they were the you are the socio-economical average of the 5 closest people you surround yourself with. Socio-economical, meaning your finances, your social outlook, your outlook in life, your psychology about yourself and about people. You are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. When you craft those 5 people, when you design your life around you, when you design your environment around you, you can influence yourself in ways that you would like. So how do you begin to craft your environment, to design your environment? Your neurology mirrors your environment, and your environment is a mirror of your neurology. This is also in alignment with neurolinguistic programming, in which the way you communicate, the words that come out of your mouth is simply a mirror of your neurology. And you can alter your neurology by changing the way that you speak. And you can alter the way you speak by changing the way that you think. And also, your environment is also a mirror of your neurology. In fact, you can even say that you can only see things that you have already in your mind. And the things that you don't see, even though they're right in front of you, are also in your mind. I want to give you an example. Have you ever tried saying to yourself, I can't find my keys, I can't find my keys, I can't find my keys. And even though they're right in front of you, because you created in your mind something called a scotoma, S-C-O-T-O-M-A. A scotoma is a blind spot. You've created in your mind a blind spot. Therefore, you can't literally see the keys because you kept telling yourself you can't see the keys. You create blind spots all the time. You see what's in your mind, and you perceive what's in your mind. So without going further into that, I go a lot about psychological strategies at greatrelationshipsu.com. So I want you to revisit that if you want more personal enlightenment like this. So craft your environment, design your environment, make sure you're free of clutter. Your house is clean, your house is free of clutter, because clutter in your environment is clutter in your mind. I want you to think about all your friends that are that are not focused, that are clutter-brained, and that are often confused and not very clear about their status in life or their communication. And I want you to look at their environment in which they stay. And I want you to recognize that they also have a lot of clutter in their environment. And that's because clutter in your environment is something you don't consciously think about. But things you don't consciously think about are processed in your unconscious processes. Your unconscious processes are processing all the bits of information that you see. Your senses process, but you're not thinking about it because they are unconscious. But they are a very powerful influence in the way that you think, in the way you perceive the world. Number 2 way to reinvent your inspiration and get you motivated to do the thing that you want, accomplish the things that you want, is I want you to think about this. Extract greater than abstract. Extract greater than abstract. It's better to, there are people that you admire, that are your heroes in your life, that you love, admire, and adore, and you really like them, and you really like their values and the things about them that really inspire you to be a different person. It could be a book, it could be a novel, it could be a movie, it could be an actual person in your life. And I want you to think about this: extract greater than abstract. It's better for you to extract from them rather than delineate yourself as different from them. Of course, you're different from them, but I want you to, rather than say, I will never be able to do that thing because I'm not that person. I am not a superhero, therefore I'm completely different, therefore I will never be able to do the thing that they're doing. That's called abstraction. Abstraction is making a delineation between different things and making yourself a very particular thing, an abstraction of anything else. Better than doing that, extract from them the values that you see, that you admire, that you love and adore, and apply it into your life and say, I really like this about the person. I will endeavor, I will enhance myself, and think about these words. I will enhance myself to be able to do that thing and accomplish those results. Extract those values, those behaviors, those mannerisms, the way that they communicate, and apply it into your life. Speed of implementation. I want you to also recognize what speed of implementation is. The people that are very successful, I want you to look at this, because ideas are worth a lot. Ideas are worth a lot. In fact, when way back, 10 plus years ago, I attended a lot of conferences and seminars and coaches. And you'll find that the longer you are in the personal development game, personal enhancement game, the more you recognize that a lot of people you can delineate between what's bullshit and what's not what's useful. And so what I was doing was, I've been in the game long enough, for 5 years. I've been attending conferences and hiring coaches, spent tens of thousands of dollars doing it. And I recognized that I could easily tell when someone's bullshitting. I can easily tell when this idea or that idea is not useful or crap or bullshit or wrong. But even though, I would still go, because there's always one thing that I can learn, even if it's just for myself. Even if it just tells me not to do that thing or not to teach that thing. It's incredibly valuable. Speed of implementation. You get a good idea, you grab at a good idea from this video, implement it into your life right away. The most successful people implement things really fast. And then that begins your journey of learning what not to do immediately, and you get success fast. Number 3 thing is, I want you to carve out your associations. You are, remember, the socioeconomical average of the top 5 people you surround yourself with. If you have a partner, you have a spouse, or you have multiple partners, then recognize that they are already taking up one or a couple of those spots of the 5. So if they're not at the very least supportive of your endeavors, or they have a negative association with your endeavors. You like something, you want something, you want to pursue something, and they're inhibiting you in many ways, whether it's emotional manipulation or actual physical manipulation. Get rid of them. There are plenty of people, if you communicate about what you like enough, and I'll talk about that more and how to find people that you align with on a different video, you will find other people that you will align with. So fill those spots. Your garden of 5 people that are inspirational and that you can find motivation when you get the inspiration from them, and apply it into your life. So those are the 3 ways to reinvent the ways you get inspiration. Number 1, let's revisit that. Number 1 is that your environment is working harder on you than you are on it. Craft and design your environment so that you get inspiration from it rather than distraction from it. Number 2 is, extract is greater than abstract. Rather than abstract yourself and delineate yourself from that thing or individual or person, or even a romantic person, rather romantic as in fantastical person in a novel, person in a book, person in a movie, or actual person in your life, rather than say, I can never be that person because I'm not that person. Of course you're not that person. You're very unique and much more special. you can extract from their values and their behaviors and apply it into your life immediately. And number 3 is I want you to carve out your associations and look at the top 5 people you associate with and make sure they are inspirational to your life rather than a distraction from your life. If you want more personal enlightenment, I want you to visit greatrelationshipsu, the letter U.com. It's Great Relationships University, an online course which teaches you personal enlightenment, relationship intelligence, and social dynamic intelligence. Leave a comment below if you have any thoughts. I'd love for you to share this video with other people that might find value in this. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.